안녕하세요. 내 이름은 Anna and welcome to my channel SourPatchKeed. So as you can see, my intro is a little bit different because I'm doing a Korean mukbang video today. Now this is gonna be my very first mukbang. I don't know if there are rules here, but all I know is I'm ready to throw down. So I'm about to check my blood sugar, take my insulin, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I got over here and we could get started. All right, so today I'm gonna also tell you about some of my favorite K-dramas. I'm gonna see how many I could fit into this video without making it too long, so roll the intro. Y'all, I had a really good blood sugar. It was 174. So now I'm getting ready to dig in. So what I have today is, this is actually a bulgogi bibimbap. I got this for Chase, but he's asleep and I want to try his food. And then for myself, I got the spicy pork bibimbap. It has the same topics, just some lettuce, some greenery, kimchi, of course, and then some rice at the bottom. I think I might need some soy sauce. But yeah, so that's these two. The last thing I got was this scallion pancake. Now, I've never seen a scallion pancake this big before. Like, it's literally the size of a pie. By the way, I'm from New York, so we actually call pizzas pies, just for reference, which is kind of like, I don't know why they turned this inside out. Like, all the food I got, if you're in Brooklyn, this is from Kimchi Grill. It's the first time I'm about to try it. Now, I am sort of a connoisseur when it comes to, you know, Korean food. No, I'm not, but I just really like Korean food a lot, so I'm about to just get everything going, and then we could get into some really juicy K-dramas or Korean shows that you should be watching if you want to be on point. All right, let's go. All right, so quick disclaimer, if you keep hearing me clear my throat, I apologize. I am sick at the moment. I have a cold, but I'm getting better. So I really wanted to do this video today because I've been craving Korean food for so long. So right now I'm about to try this bulgogi. I'm just gonna try the meat since everything in both bowls are the same. It's really good. It's like kind of sweet, but it's also savory. You could taste kind of like some sesame oil in there. It's really good. So I'm about to put this away, and then I'm gonna come back and we could really get into this. All right, so as you can see, I started the video off in Korean. Fun fact, I actually took Korean for 3 years. I am not fluent. I would love to be, but I'm not fluent. But unfortunately, life happens and I couldn't continue with the classes. So, oh, this is like really glutinous. Okay, so these two sauces right here, I've got this type of soy-based one. And it's like a chili soy base. And this one is supposed to be a citrus-based sauce, but it low-key tastes like spicy mayo, with a hint of like some type of mustard, but I like citrus, so I'm gonna try that one. But yeah, so I've always been obsessed with Korean culture, and for a few years I pretty much was in Koreatown almost every day of the week. So I've eaten quite a bit of Korean food, and I've even learned how to make some Korean food. And I've even made some Korean friends, which is dope. So, oh, it's really spicy. Not the sauce, but the pancake itself. I don't know if Chase is going to be able to eat this because he doesn't eat spices at all. But it's really hot. I don't mind it. So, let's get into these K-dramas. Now, some of it, there's going to be a soppy little, you know, love stories. Some are going to be super scary and straight on point, some even about spirituality and such, but I don't know how many I'm gonna be able to fit in this video, so I'm probably gonna need a part 2 because all I do with my life is binge watch Korean stuff. So, all right. The very first one I want to talk about is, I'm going to start with a mukbang one. Shipshalil Hapshida. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But I think it's Let's Eat. There's 2 seasons. I've watched both on multiple occasions. Yo, I'm really looking for people to practice Korean with, by the way. So, if you're down, let me know in the comments section so I can get in contact with you. But yeah. So if I'm butchering anything, please forgive me. Remember, it's not my own language, but I'm learning. And I'm willing to continue learning. So yeah. Let's Eat is about this guy who pretty much in both seasons moves from town to town, and he goes around and eats as much food as possible because he has this blog, well, yeah, a blog where he only posts pictures of his plate after he's done eating. Like, he doesn't post the picture of the food beforehand. So that started catching a lot of people's attention, and throughout the show, you know, he's met people he's fallen in love with, and it's just really good. It more focuses on food, but there's always like some background stories to each person or each town he goes to. So in the second one, it kind of took a creepy turn, kind of, because they introduced well, a few new characters, but one of them was living in the attic, and they thought he was some type of murderer or whatever, but turns out it was just the landlord that was scared that people would find out she was renting upstairs to people without a license. And he ended up being completely harmless for the most part. For the most part. He did end up doing some shit, but for the most part, he was innocent, and he was just a kid. Okay. So, second K-drama, my absolute favorite one is 1,000 Kisses. That one takes like a look into how society judges divorced women and single mothers. So this woman, she was with this man, and she had this evil mother-in-law. Well, I'm really digging this sauce. But yeah, and her husband was continuously cheating on her. So she already had a kid with him and everything. The kid was already old enough to understand a little bit of what was going on. And one day she woke up and she was like, fuck it, I'm out. Packed her shit, walked out the door. And then she accidentally, you know, one thing led to another while she's trying to live her life. And then she meets this man, much younger than her. Let's say she was like in her 30s, and he's like maybe 25. Like, so apparently in Korean culture, it doesn't look good for a woman to date somebody younger. Turns out he was rich and this type of stuff. So of course his dad was like, nah, you can't be with her. And it's like every time they were together, they were so happy, but then somebody in their life would just hop in, like, boom. Y'all, I don't know why, but these flies, like, ever since it started snowing, there's been flies kind of coming in my house, and it's been really annoying. That is so annoying. But yeah, so they kept trying to be together, kept breaking up, but their love story was so beautiful that I was like, damn, they really didn't deserve everything they went through. By the way, bibimbap is meant to be completely stirred in. It's supposed to be kind of like leftover type of food that you're mixing with rice or vegetables, and it usually has a fried egg on top. Like, it looks beautiful. I can't wait to dig in. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so yeah, 1,000 Kisses. It has a lot of twists and turns, a lot of positives and negatives. It really kind of helps you look into, like, damn, why they got to do somebody like that just because they don't have a man, or because their man wanted to be, you know, all types of messed up, and you're not allowed to leave. Like, I was like, damn. It's not right, but it's a really good show. The next one, Lux is going crazy. Ooh. I got my spicy pork regular spicy. So it has a little kick. It's not like anything too crazy. I could have gotten it spicier. It's actually spicy. But it's good so far. I don't have space to mix it though, because usually bibimbap is served like a big ass bowl, like metal bowl. If you've ever watched K-dramas or whatever, that's what it's usually served in. And that's what I usually serve it when I make it too. But yeah. So the next show that I think is pretty dope is actually a recent one. It's called Rugal. It's on Netflix. It's about this man who is a police officer. He comes home to find that this gang had murdered his wife. And before they left, because he had walked in on the scene, they, you know, gauged his eyes out. They took his eyes. So he was blamed for the murder of his wife, and they made it look like it was a attempted murder-suicide. So he ends up in prison after waking up. Jeez. He wakes up in prison after getting, you know, treated or whatever. And he's losing his mind, and he's like, damn, like, that's messed up. Like, I love my wife. Like, I would never murder her or whatever. While he's in prison, one of the guards randomly approached him and was like, hey, somebody needs to speak to you, and gave him an earpiece. And then somebody just started talking in his ear and kind of telling him like, hey man, I know what you've been through, and I want to be able to help you get your eyes back. And he was like, man, if I got my eyes back, I'm just gonna want to murder whoever did this. They kept trying to convince him not to or whatever, but he ends up working for the secret agency, trying to put those people in the gang behind bars. When he was an officer, before his wife was murdered, one of his colleagues, who was guarding a few people that were supposed to be part of a jury against that gang, ended up being murdered. So when he pulls up, you know, at the secret agency and he starts working for them, he's finding out like some types of secrets or whatever. So pretty much it's like an action-based K-drama, and he eventually ends up getting new AI eyes. Like they were like robot eyes, but like at the same time they connect to his brain, kind of like a computer. Like he could record with his eyes, he could take, pictures, all that fun jazz. So he ends up becoming like the face of the agency, and then there's a lot of twists and turns, a lot of betrayal, a lot of fighting, a lot of murder, a lot of gang related activities. Like, there were some episodes where I was like, dang, I can't believe like a Korean show is actually showing so much. Because, you know, Korean shows, they be trying to just give you little hints of what's going on. But this one, no, it was like straight to the point. I was telling you, like, these people are being harvested. These people are being murdered. These people are being hacked up. These people are being served as experiments. Like, it was just straight to the point, and like, boom, boom, boom. Action, action, action. Great. Loved it. I'm gonna see, which other K-drama do I absolutely love? Oh, this one I just finished last night. I started watching it before, but I already knew it was gonna be super scary. But turns out, even though it was scary at the beginning, I ended up falling in love with it. Sweet Home. This one came out, I think, at some point at the end of last year. And it's about this kid, about 15, 16, who recently lost his entire family. And he moves into this apartment and within 24 hours ends up being quarantined because the entire world, well, not world, the country got hit with a curse that turns people's desires into their darkest side and turns them and turn into a monster. So throughout the show, he turns pretty early, but he ends up figuring out a way to live with both sides. And when I tell you, like, this entire show, I was screaming at my TV because the suspense is so insane. Like, from literally the first episode, I think about like 10, 15 minutes in, I was like, dude, if the show's starting out this way, imagine how it's going to end. And it's funny because, as expected, whenever a show comes out with a bang from episode 1, you already know the rest is just going to be even more insane. Like, don't even try to predict the rest. That's all I'm going to say about that. But good show. Really good show. I must say, I'm not as impressed with this bibimbap as I am with... No, I feel like my recipe tastes better than this. Like, yeah, it tastes good. It tastes good, but I feel like the rice is missing some flavor. And there's just way too many wet veggies in here. Like, you already got broccoli, you got lettuce. Like, it's just a lot because it's just like wet on wet, and then the rice is lacking flavor. So I'm definitely gonna need some soy sauce. I'm gonna go grab that, and I'm probably gonna put another egg because, like, the egg was so dry. Like, it's supposed to be able to just ooze into this. You could just mix it and eat it, but this is just a lot. And I think I'm gonna get rid of a lot of the lettuce. It's just not doing it for me. So I'm gonna do that real quick. So that kind of messed up my flow a little bit, but I just got some soy sauce and I added an extra egg on top. You see, extra juicy now. Ready to go. Okay, so let me see. What is the next K-drama? I think the next one would be, I think it's called Guardian, the Gods of the Lonely or something. But of course, I'm gonna have a picture up. That one really made me cry. Oh my goodness, it made me cry. So pretty much that one has to do with this god. He pretty much, I think he lost his love or something in like some type of war as a punishment. And he was cursed so that he wouldn't be able to die until he found love. So he lived centuries alone, lonely, depressed, watching everybody he loves dies over and over again. And then boom, one day he meets this high school girl, which is kind of awkward. He falls in love with her, and then she ends up falling in love with him. And then you could guess what happens next. But he also has this friend that is a Grim Reaper, and he can't figure out, you know, how to get out of his depressive state and move on from, you know, this life that he's living. He just wants to end his life. And then later on, he finds out why. But it's like a really depressing and sad show. But like when he finally finds love, and then he has to decide, like, do I want to continue living now that I have people I love being alive and such? Or do I want to fall in love and die? And it's like the irony of shit in this show. But one thing I will tell you, the main characters are so sexy. Okay? Like the Grim Reaper, he could get it any day. Any day. I don't remember their names on the show, because I watched this like a few years back. Like I said, some of these are gonna be recent and some not. But I remember that was the main reason why that show was popular. It was because of all the sexy characters and the whole love situation, like longing for somebody. So if you're a hopeless romantic, that's the show for you. So another show that I recently watched that I refused to watch when it first came out, because I don't really like historical dramas, but The King on Netflix with Lee Min-ho, really good. So in this one, the main character, the king, witnesses his father, who was the king at the time, being murdered by his uncle because of some stupid sword. The uncle runs away, and they couldn't find him for years. Couldn't find a body, couldn't get a story of where he went. So then eventually the king finds out by accident that the uncle might be in another dimension, like in another world, like a parallel universe, because he ran away with the sword that he stole, because the sword is supposed to be like the main component of this prophecy. So he starts going to the other world, but he got a key, like a key evidence to who saved his life the night his father died, that he always carried with him. And it happens to be this woman that doesn't exist in his world. But whenever they check her, you know, ID or whatever, she kept coming up as, you know, like all her stuff was proper documents. She just doesn't exist. They just can't find her. There's nobody by that name, no DNA, nothing. So when he ends up going to the other world, first person he comes across is that woman, and she's a police officer in her world. But the thing is, as you know, Korea is the Republic of Korea, so they have a president, women have rights, stuff like that. But in the other world, Korea is the Kingdom of Korea. So he's trying to pretty much the whole show, him and her, well, him trying to figure out, like, damn, can I really make this person fall in love with me, knowing good and well she live in another world? And for her, it was like, damn, bro, how all your documents, even your money, who doesn't look like our money, and in her world too, all his documents look official, but he doesn't exist in her world. So it was like vice versa on each world. So they're trying to figure out about each other through proper channels, and they just couldn't. And he kept telling her, like, I'm telling you, you're not gonna find me, but I know who you are, da da da. But of course, they fall in love, and then they start having to deal with the uncle, who is now purposely messing with both worlds, because he really was living in the dimension that that woman lives in, like in the Republic of Korea instead of the kingdom. So it has a lot to do with treason, murder, love, pain, loss, and of course, in these shows, you always know there's that one character who's always going to be that greedy one who wants everything. So this one girl just wanted the king so bad that she done messed up. I was like, damn, boo. He told you from the start he didn't want you, but whatever. But of course, there's that love triangle shit. This is a really good story because when you're looking at their love and stuff, you know, how everything ended up going down, it's cute. But I don't want to give too much away. So moving on to the next one. Let me see. It's okay not to be okay. That show? When I made it to the last episode, I screamed at my TV the entire, like, from the end of the episode before the last one to the end of the last episode, bro. It was between me screaming at my TV and crying. It's okay not to be okay has to do with these two brothers who lost their moms. So one of the brothers has autism and a couple of other mental disorders and such. Yeah, PTSD and such, because he witnessed his mom being murdered, which gave him a severe fear of butterflies. It kind of sucks because I love butterflies. But when you see what happens to him, I was like, damn, bro, I'd be terrified too. So, pretty much, through the entire show, the two brothers keep moving because every single time, I think spring comes or something, the brothers are having nightmares about the butterflies. But he ends up making it to this town, and one thing led to the next, and they decided to stay. The brothers now, the main character is working, not the one with the disorders, but the brother of that one. He's working as a nurse in a, was it a hospice? No, it wasn't a hospice. It was like this clinic. Nope. I think it is a hospice. Because if I remember correctly, a lot of the people in the show die. Every episode, at least one person die, if I remember correctly. Unless I'm mixing it with another one. Because a lot of these shows sometimes seem very similar. But yeah, it was that show. So, he was working there, and this woman comes in and is completely rude. Every time he meets her, she's completely rude, and she's a writer, but her dad was staying at the hospital. And every time she comes, the dad would get like a really bad freak out, like, oh, you're the devil, you should have been dead. And she'll just be like, okay then, I'm gonna go die, fuck it. And then she would end up doing some stupid shit to get attention. So she writes these spooky cute books, and if y'all know me, y'all know I'm all about that. So you can start to see that these books are so cute and creepy, and the brother is also a really big fan. So now after they meet and she couldn't stand the woman, he tries everything he can to prevent the woman from ever meeting the brother, because the brother always wanted to meet him, the one with the, you know, autism and stuff. But eventually they meet, and the thing that's weird is the woman just wants to harass him all the time. Whatever he's doing, she's trying to mess it up. She pretty much started acting like the way little boys act when they want girls' attention because they like them, like they have a crush. And he just can't stand her. He's just like, I don't like you. Like, leave me alone. There was actually this one scene where he spoke to her and I felt that shit in my soul. He was like, I don't hate you. But you know what? You're just like an empty can of soda. You're empty, shallow. You make a lot of noise because everybody who walk by kicks you. But nobody give a fuck about you because nobody gonna pick you up and put you in the trash. That's how I feel about you. I was like, oh! That shit hurt my soul. I was like, damn. But eventually, there was one time when the dad actually tried to kill her in the hospital. So he was like, all right, I get it. She going through shit, you know. Let me see what's going down. But then, there's a lot of secrets and turns into this. So I don't want to say too much about the next step. But her mom had ran away. And that's why she became a writer. Because the mom was a writer. And they started seeing signs that the mom might be around. Even though they thought that the mom died. There was evidence and all of that. But there started being signs that the mom might still be alive. And then, of course, there's some bad karma between the mom, the boys' moms, and her. And of course, at some point, they fall in love. So you already know, like, it's going to be that whole shit of, holy fuck, like, do I want to stay with you even despite my parents being fucked up? Or what do I want to do? So the ending ended up being really cute. But one thing I would say about that show that I really appreciated was the fact that, like, the brother that has the mental disorders, like, when I tell you he had so many, he had a lot of disorders. And, like, he had one where he couldn't tell people's expressions. So every day when he wake up, he has to, like, look at his little cards to figure out what emotions are. Oh my goodness. Like, he had the autism, but he was also an artist. He ended up being signed to be an artist, like an illustrator. And then he was keeping a job at a restaurant. On top of it, he was drawing for the people at the restaurant. He ended up getting 3 full-time jobs to the point where he had to leave the others and was like, okay, I want to focus on my passion, which is drawing. And I was like, wow, dude, like, I really appreciate the fact that throughout the whole show, he's been so consistent with his jobs and wanting to move up. Like, he would make a goal and he would go for it. Like, that was the one thing I really appreciated about that show, because it wasn't just like the dramatic side. It also had like some real life lessons, because like when you're looking at it, like I said, at least one person dies every episode. So it was like everybody had some sort of lesson that they had to give out through that. The last show I want to bring up, I cannot remember the name at this exact moment. Holy crap. I think I might have to look it up real quick. But it does have to do with the Grim Reaper and stuff like that. It's also on Netflix, but I can't remember the name. Okay, instead of going to look it up now, I'm just going to put the picture up on the screen when I edit. But this one had to do with this guy that he's a Grim Reaper, and he has like this stupid partner, like, who's lazy, who's scared, who's all this and a third. But yeah, so they had to go do this job, you know, like pick up a soul. Black, that's what the show's called. So he had to go pick up a soul with the partner. And he was like, you know what? I need him to grow some balls. So I'm going to send him down alone. But when you're a Grim Reaper, there are rules. You cannot stay on Earth for a certain amount of time. And if you possess somebody, you can't stay in their body too long. Now, they don't explain certain things till the end. So while you're watching, a lot of things are not going to make sense unless you watch the entire show. So of course, the partner goes. The partner was terrified to get the soul, possessed the body, vanished. So this was like, damn, bro, like, first try, like, you could have given it a couple of tries before you did that. So now you got me fucked up because now I'm finna get demoted. And he was like one of the highest ranks of Grim Reapers. So he was like, all right, don't tell the boss, I'm gonna be back. He dips, he goes to Earth, and he possesses this girl's, was he his, no, she wasn't his best friend. Like, when they were younger, they were friends, but you don't find that out till later on, but that's not really messing up the story in any way. So, this girl, she sees ghosts, and whenever she touches the shadow, which is called black, whenever she touches black, or the shadow, she sees how the person the shadow is attached to is going to die. So this girl accidentally meets this cop who turned out was her friend when she was younger, but he had changed his name. That was a whole story. A lot of twists and turns. That was the one thing that's weird, and I'm not going to try to explain any of the twists. You have to watch the shit because a lot of it got me confused at first. But yeah, so that police officer ends up dying, and the Grim Reaper ended up possessing him. So he's pretending to be him or whatever, but he wasn't really. Yo, my kid is crying. Hold up, let me go check what's up with him. All right, so that officer, the girl who could see people's deaths, she met the officer by accident while she was at work. Her ex had walked in and she saw that he was gonna die. So the cop was like, damn, that's weird. You know, we should totally work together and prevent people from dying. He was like, let's do it. But she was like, nah, bro. This is a curse. I don't feel like dealing with the shits. But then, of course, she instantly changes her mind. And when the officer dies and Grim Reaper took over, he was like pretending to be him at work only because he wanted a gun. But in real life, he was just like the rudest motherfucker, bro. Because like I said, he was like a high-rank Grim. So he's like, damn. Like, this girl's annoying. Like, leave me alone, leave me alone. But she wouldn't leave him alone. She started acting crazy to get his attention. And I was like, damn, bro, you had just said no the night before. And now all of a sudden, like, you want to be doing all this crazy extra shit. So, throughout the show, Grim is trying to find his partner in real life, whose body he's hiding in because he can't find it. Now he's finding out there's other Grims who's done it. They're hiding. He eventually finds out that the officer dying was a whole plot. So then he was like, damn, bro. And then he's finding out that the guy had secrets. But in real life, the police officer, like, he was such a gentle soul. He was so sweet. All the bullshit. All the bullshit. Because in real life, they're finding out, first of all, his brother died. And there was mad secrets about that shit. He had some videotape that even the president was after. Because it had to do with sex trafficking, with children being murdered, kidnapped, trans people being murdered. Like, they had, like, information on who was having sex changes. And, like, there's just mad secrets. There was, like, legitimate buried secrets. Whether it was, like, bodies being dug up from years ago or freaking... It was mad shit. Mad shit. And then you're finding out, like, they've been trying to kill this man since he was, like, 12. What the fuck? Like, make it make sense. Like, y'all were looking for a 12-year-old kid and he made it to live to, like, 30 before y'all got him. Like, bro, make it make sense. Like, there's so many secrets. And then, like, the girl, like, she's trying to, you know, help people and whatever, and then to find out like her dad's murder had to do with him too. Like, bro, it was so many twists. Like, I was just like, damn, like I can't even keep up. It's like every episode there's like at least 4 or 5 switches, like crazy. So eventually everyone finds out the truth about everything from the beginning. Since like the show takes place between 1994 or 1996 to like 2020. And I was like, damn, like, oh my goodness, a lot of what happens is just like pure shock. Especially when the girl starts being harassed by random people she didn't know because she knew him. And she was just like, damn, bro. Like, that's crazy. And then on top of it, to find out, like, his girlfriend, well, fiance, because the cop had a fiance, but after he died, like, the other guy was just like, nah, B, I ain't finna be with you. So the Grimm broke up with her. But later on, she found out. She was like, damn, this whole time, like, we didn't know that it wasn't you in there, even though you were acting so different. But the Grimm ends up fixing everything for everybody. And then it was a cute, happy ending, surprisingly, because the show was, like, super duper dark. But yeah, I know I was talking a lot in this video, but I usually don't do this. These are just my passions, and I just wanted to talk about that. I usually don't have much of an appetite. I'm gonna leave this for Chase, and I'm gonna have this before I go to bed or in the morning when I wake up. The rice still got no flavor, despite all the extra stuff I had to do. My child has been so talkative today. Nikolai is literally like, he just had some rice with Korean black beans, and he was just asking for a bottle, gave it to him, and now he's freaking out. So it's definitely time for me to get off and get him to bed. Thank you so much for sticking around and making it to the end with me, and I really appreciate you being here. If you want to see part 2 of this, and if you want to see some really dope beauty stuff, please be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I'll post something cute, something dope, something sweet. Now my son is really screaming at the TV. Probably something he doesn't like came on. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. Peace.